Hello and welcome everyone to our follow-up to the Nintendo Direct here over at animesecrets.org. My name is Miguel, head of gaming here, and yeah, just gonna do a debriefing on what we saw yesterday. Finally had some time to kind of look over, see what was going, or not see what was going on, but kind of really go and I guess like the phrase is like digest, but really think on what they showed yesterday. And for putting it right off the bat, I gotta say that was like a really solid direct. Not something that I put out there with their like best of their best, but it's like one that was really good and consistent across the board. It touched on a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out this year, teased a little bit of what's coming out next year, but their big focus on games and DLC and whatnot for coming out for 2023 was such a breath of fresh air. Like, I think overall, in terms of this summer presentations for all the game companies, Nintendo is probably number 2. I think Microsoft overall still held kind of the best one in terms of games that are coming out that look like really, really good. But the thing for them is a lot of them are coming out for next year. Not just that, but with so many of them being available on PC as well. If you already have a good enough PC, a lot of these games you'll be able to get, whereas a lot of Nintendo's offerings are, exclusively to the Switch, and, they're gonna be coming out within this year. So, yeah, we're gonna go just take a quick look over my 5 picks for kind of the best of the best that they were showing off there. But just a few honorable mentions or quick tidbits. Glad to see a little bit more on what the Scarlet and Violet DLC is looking like. Scarlet and Violet, a game that launched with, unfortunately, too many performance issues. Those issues are like patched up. If they had taken what the Tears of the Kingdom team did and focused like a year on like making sure that the game performed excellently and didn't have the weird bugs that we saw at the beginning of it, made it look a little bit prettier. I've said this when Scarlet and Violet came out to everyone here on Anime Secrets. I'm sorry I didn't do a review on it, but that these would be hands down the best Pokemon games in a very, very long. Like, people would put these in a pretty high tier because the music is fantastic, the characters are fantastic, the Pokemon designs are some of the best they've been in a while, and just that free roaming ability that we can do once we complete the first portion of the school is unlike anything I've experienced in a Pokemon game. And if not for the performance issues, which are big, like they cannot be ignored, they would be right up there with some of the best of the best. But performance issues have really kept the game down and kind of have kept a lot of like talk of the game afterwards down as well. So hopefully this DLC can inject a little bit of life into it, and just seeing like a glimpse of what we're going to be getting, I'm excited. Another one of the honorable mentions here, gonna go over, I didn't play the original game. I did go see the movie, which is Detective Pikachu 2. Of all the things to pop up, Detective Pikachu was definitely not on my kind of watch list whatsoever. And yeah, I'm glad to see that, a lot of the Pokemon spin-offs are still going to be alive and well. We've gotten quite a few of them here on the Switch. We have Legends, Snap 2, and now Detective Pikachu. Pretty good, pretty solid. And yeah, those are kind of it for a few of the honorable mentions here. A lot of really good stuff. Pikmin 4, honorable mention, but that's kind of been a known quantity. Like, we know what we're gonna get with the Pikmin series, and it's good to see kind of how the game is shaping up to be. It's been in development for a while, it's been rumored for even longer, and being about a month away, I'm very excited to go hand in hand with Pikmin 4, the HD releases of Pikmin 1 and 2. If they're gonna keep doing kind of all these GameCube HD remasters, yeah, I sound like a broken record being the F-Zero fan that I am, but like, we've done the Pikmin. We're more than likely gonna get Metroid Prime 2 as well after the success of Metroid Prime. Like, we know Wind Waker and Twilight Princess like are there for whenever they need break glass. F-Zero, please. But yeah, so gonna go over my top 5 here, and honestly, there's a lot of really good stuff that came out of this, and I am very excited for the year ahead for Nintendo. But yeah, let's take a quick look into the top 5. Alright, starting off at number 5, and this is kind of a bit of a cheat pick, but for me, someone who likes collections, just because being able to have physical copies of these games and not having to be reliant on digital only stuff, always good for me. But yeah, the 2 collections that were announced, both the Batman collection, the Arkham trilogy. We're missing Origins, but I think focusing on everything, Asylum, City, Night, always good, and the Metal Gear Solid collection. I want to say kind of the last collection for Metal Gear came out on the PlayStation 3, and we haven't really had a consistent way to be able to play these games on kind of modern consoles, and so having this collection, oddly labeled Volume 1, with the games that they had on there is pretty good. We know that we're getting the 3 remake titled Delta for PlayStation 5 or current gen. I'm not entirely sure if Delta is PS5 exclusive, but yeah, that being in the works, but having a way to play 1, 2, and 3 on a current console is always good. I know the Metal Gear Solid collection is not exclusive to the Switch, and it'll be coming out on other consoles, but it was announced here, and it was one of the things I was the most excited for, so that gets put up there. But yeah, the 2 collections I think are great. Always giving people access to some of these great games is never a bad thing in my opinion. Alright, coming up at number 4 is game that I actually did not know anything about until they showed it here on this direct, and as someone who loves action platformers to death, Penny's Big Breakaway kind of reminds me of those classic action platformers, your Banjos, your Crashes, your 3D Marios. Like, I'm excited for it. It looked really good. Gameplay looked great. Fighting penguins is always funny. It's got a nice little charm to it, and this is one of the titles that's coming out next year that they showed here. And so, yeah, something to look forward to next year, but still, it looked great, and really hoping that, somewhere in like fall or winter, they kind of announce like a demo, or the closer we get to it, because it is a game that I want to get my hands on and I want to play. It looks really good. Alright, coming up at number 3, this is the title that everyone got surprised with, got hit with at the end. Everyone has already been making the Elephant Mario memes. Everyone is already afraid of looking up what a Elephant Peach and Elephant Daisy is going to look like, but it is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. The 2D platformer Marios have gotten a bad reputation ever since the new Super Mario Bros. Series kind of began to overstay its welcome. I know with the DS it made sense. It wasn't a home console, so people were more lenient towards that game when it first came out, but then they kind of transferred over to main consoles with new Super Mario Bros. Wii, which was still a good game, but everyone wanted a Galaxy 2 by that point, which we did eventually get. But the fact that the new Super Mario Bros. Games were kind of the main Mario games we were getting until Odyssey released really soured people on them. And so when the rumors of a 2D Mario platformer were kind of swirling around, people didn't know what to expect. They were expecting, well, they knew what they were expecting, but this wasn't it. They were expecting another new Super Mario Brothers game, if that makes sense. They were expecting kind of the, played out animation, designs, worlds of it. But when they showed this, which, it had a nice uniqueness to it, a lot of the kind of animations took you back to kind of that 2D style, where, instead of Mario just crouching down, looking up, like he did in the modern 2D platformers, he's putting his hat down, he has an expression on his face. It looked livelier. It looked like the art book put into the screen once again. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is looking really good. And then we get to the trippy stuff. The psychedelics, the weirdness about it, which is honestly great. Like, one of the things that Mario tends to do is just put out some crazy idea and then go for it. And maybe they were thinking, what if we made Mario do drugs? This is the game. I don't know, but I know I'm looking forward to playing it. I know I'm looking forward to changing my avatar here on Twitter over to Mario Elephant soon. It looks really good, and the fact that this is coming out in October, it's wild to me. And this is probably going to be their holiday title. I assume that they're going to push forward, but it's still too early to tell. But the fact that we're getting this new Mario 2D platformer so soon, I'm excited. Can't wait to try it out. Alright, number 2 on this list might be a little not controversial, but this is kind of my personal pick because I am inherently biased towards JRPGs, especially ones that I never beat, but friends or family would loan me the games, and I would just play them for the limited time I had on my brother's PlayStation before he would want to play his games, which is Star Ocean Second Story R. This is a remake of Star Ocean Second Story, which was the first Star Ocean game released in America. It is the first Star Ocean game to be released outside of Japan, is what I'm trying to say. And so it was a lot of people's first introduction to the Star Ocean series, and I have been a big supporter of the HD 2D style ever since Octopath Traveler came out many years ago. I say many years ago, but 2018 wasn't that far. Okay, that wasn't that far away, was it? Oh god, it was 5 years. The game the art style looks absolutely beautiful. I'm loving what they're doing with the character portraits, how they're going, the ability to be able to kind of change your audio, because there's still some people who don't like dubs and prefer subtitled only, which is cool. But for me, the animations look sick, the gameplay looks sick. It is just an absolutely stunning game to look at, and it was one that I was shocked to see. I know Square has been high on making a lot of their classic titles in the HD 2D style, especially kind of lesser known ones, just like we saw Live a Live last year. Or was it the year before? Yeah, last year. How we saw Live a Live last year, and if they're gonna keep reintroducing so many of these JRPGs into modern eras and using this HD 2D style, I am all for it, and I'm looking forward to playing Star Ocean Second Story R. Alright, and for number 1, I know I said in the prediction video, don't give me this, I don't care. I was rooting for Chrono Trigger to be the one to get the remake, but I honestly cannot complain. Super Mario RPG. Just the art style that they chose to go with, kind of the little miniatures, reminds me a lot to the same style they kind of took with Link's Awakening, where they made everything like a panorama toy. And so, yeah, the game, like, it visually, it looks really gorgeous. And it looks like they're changing up a lot of the stuff. It looks like everyone's kind of having a super meter off to the side. The little tease they played, the was great, and then the transition into the modern art style was great, and then the absolutely stunning music that they played during it was, oh man, it was phenomenal. Just a great surprise. A lot of people, if they followed the leaker who kind of leaked it, they were seeing that they were specifically liking tweets linked to saying Super Mario RPG was a remake. So they weren't quite as shocked, but I myself was still shocked. Nintendo going to Square for it, I think. I don't know what the behind the story is, but I know like kind of Nintendo and Square have this weird ownership over Super Mario RPG, which is why having references to it is like so far and few in between for them. Like outside of Mario RPG, we've only gotten Gino as a paid costume in Smash Brothers, and like a brief cameo in Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. So seeing him again looks great. Mallow is cool too, I guess. I never used Mallow once I didn't have to, and the game looks absolutely fantastic. And once again, I'm gonna harp on this or praise this, but the music, Yoko Shinomura just confirmed that she is returning to score the music for the game again, and it is still one of the best Mario soundtracks that's ever been released. And so I'm hoping they kept certain songs away, because they gotta shock us with some of the renditions. You can't have everything all at once, right? My biggest hope for the game, though, is if you've ever played Mario RPG, you know that there's a super boss in there named Culex. And Culex was pretty unique, in which, he was a standard Final Fantasy boss-like character. But instead of using the art style that they did for Super Mario RPG, he was actually just kept as a Final Fantasy sprite. So I'm hoping for this one, if they do keep Culex, and I hope they do. Like, I hope it's not a thing where they remake a game but take away things, looking at some Pokemon remakes, but that if they do keep the battle in there, instead of being a 3D model like we have for the rest of the game and the party members, I hope it's an HD 2D sprite of it, because that would just be the best. But yeah, those are my 5 kind of best reviews, best takeaways from the Nintendo Direct. I gotta say, if you're a Nintendo Switch fan, this year has been phenomenal. Like the beginning of the year to kind of the middle and to the end, there's been like a consistent, steady stream of games for people to go play, to go check out. And if people thought that Tears of the Kingdom was just gonna be, we're done for Nintendo, this Direct kind of showed them up and said, nah, they're not done. And it's gonna be pretty exciting, like, because we still have another Direct later on in the year, but if they showed all this off for what they had for basically summer and early fall, man, I can't imagine what they'll have in store for the next Direct. But I am very much looking forward to so many of the titles that they showed here, and it's fun to be a Nintendo fan right now. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the Nintendo Direct. Tell me what game you're looking forward to the most out of it. Were you disappointed, or what game are you going to be checking out, and are you afraid of the inevitable fan art of Elephant Peach and Elephant Daisy? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you for checking us out here at Anime Secrets. We have a bunch of other stuff that we do. We have Toku Secrets, we have Jedi Podcast, we have all sorts of stuff, so be sure to check those out. This is Agent Jink. You guys, Agent Jink. This is Agent Miguel checking out. Y'all take care.